Hey, what's going on, everybody? Christian Ballard, sports journalist with Ballard Sports Media, coming at you with another video today. Yes, a double header, two videos, and yes, it's on Auburn. I am going to do at least Auburn and Alabama, like I said in the last video, offensive preview, defensive preview. Special teams, I mean, they got good kickers or they don't. I don't know. I'm not trying to downgrade punters. I'm not trying to downgrade that. But I think the main thing is offense and defense. I think we can all agree there when it comes to football. So do me a favor, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. Love and appreciate each and every one of you out there. Appreciate all the continued support for the channel and everything. But we want to look today at Auburn's defense, and I'm going to kind of read off an article because, again, you got to do research and stuff, and I have some notes of my own of my thoughts on all this, and this is from Jerry Humphrey III on AL.com. This was put out just over a month ago on March 5th. The top returning defensive players for Auburn football in 2025, along with looking at their overall roster. Uh, you kind of look at it, and when you look at their defense, it was okay last year. I mean, I have not seen Auburn have a perfect defense, which that's a bit of a stretch. Like when I say perfect, what I mean is like how do I want to put this? I don't know if I've seen them have a good enough defense since maybe the 2017 season. Now, 2018 was okay too, but they still had some blowout losses to like Georgia or Alabama or whoever. Um, but that I think 20. You guys can correct me. Like they've had some good defenses, but when's the last time it was talked about nationally like, throughout college football? When's the last time they were under a microscope, defensively? I guess it have to be that 2017 team, that made the SEC championship that year. I mean, they held Alabama to 14 points in the Iron Bowl, and, Georgia was having a historic season on their way to a national championship run and appearance, and Auburn blew them out like 41-10 or 40-17 or something like that, right? So, can it be that good? I'm gonna say no for now, but I do think Auburn has potential on defense. I really do. Um, so DJ Durkin, I believe, is the right fit for Auburn's defensive coordinator position. I think he's done a great job everywhere he's been. I think he's really, really smart. Now they they were top well, outside the top 25, number 1 in rankings overall, like in the college football rankings and stuff. But when you look at this article, reading from AL.com, the Tigers finished 28th in the country in points allowed per game and 31st in yards allowed per game last season. That's not terrible, but it's also not great if you're Auburn. You want to do a little bit better than that, I would say. Um, Tied for 44th overall with 28 total sacks in the country. Auburn recorded 5 fumbles, ranking in the top 20 in rush defense, and picked off opponents 8 times in 2024. Again, that's not bad, but is it me or does Auburn want to be better than that? I'm sure anybody would want to, especially a team like Auburn. I mean, they're historically great and really good in the state of Alabama. They haven't won an Iron Bowl this decade, going back to 2019 or whatever in the 2020s, and they haven't really been able to keep up with their rivals. I think that's the goal for Auburn is you want to compete, but at this point you want to go ahead and try to win another game over Georgia, which you haven't done since 2017, or Alabama 2019. Some of the key guys they have, let's start with Kedrick Faulk, uh, one of the best players on the roster, really, really good. One of the better defensive linemen in the SEC, I thought, last year. He had 45 total tackles and 7 sacks. He added 11 tackles for loss in his sophomore campaign last year, with 81 career tackles total at Auburn. He was at one point when they had played Kentucky last year, he was SEC Defensive Lineman of the Week. Not that that really matters. I'd rather be Player of the Year, and Auburn didn't really have enough on defense to really get that spot, but he was a key piece last year. Speaking of key pieces, Demarcus Riddick, who I think is one of the more undervalued linebackers in the SEC. 27 total tackles, 5 tackles for loss, 3 sacks, and a pass deflection last year, and a forced fumble. Um, so, I mean, there's a lot of hype about him, after what he did his freshman year. He's gonna be a sophomore this year. He's gonna be really, really good. He's fast. He can get to the quarterback. He's picking up where Eugene Asante left off. He is now going to the NFL. So, then you have guys. I won't dive into all these guys, but Malik Blockton, I've heard good things about. Jay Crawford, Kyron Crawford, is a transfer incoming outside linebacker. Um, from he transferred last year. Sylvester Smith is really good. Champ Anthony, who I think could have been a difference maker had he not had a, a leg injury last year. So anyway, he's good. I think overall, how I view Auburn's defense is a team with great talent, standout players, names to know. The thing is, can they get the chemistry right to where they can play as a team? Not that they have issues like getting along or anything. That's not what I'm saying. You need more than just one player to show up every week. And it seemed like for me when I watched Auburn last year on defense, it seemed like even though they had all these great players that looked really great, it seemed like it was one guy a week. It was one week it was Champ Anthony. The next it was Demarcus Riddick. The next it was this guy or that guy or this guy or that guy. And that's not that's not really going to get you far. And it wasn't like that necessarily every week, but at least did it not feel like that for most of the season? It seemed as if there was just one key player. It wasn't like it was very consistent, like I don't know. Auburn needs to find a way on defense to put every player on the field. Not like every player. You can't have more than 11, but uh, every player that's on that field wearing the Auburn uniform on defense needs to play with a team effort. And I'm not saying that they don't. I'm just saying, like, it'd be great to see this defense as a whole come together and be great instead of it being one guy's great because he got a pick. One guy's great because he got a sack. I want to see like full force up front pressure on the quarterback, or I want to see double coverage, broken up pass, intercepted, forcing fumbles, stuff like that. That's what I want to see from the defense. Clearly, as we kind of talked about in the offensive video for Auburn, clearly the quarterback was the key issue. He couldn't really, with Peyton Thorne, it just didn't click. It didn't work out. They went with a couple different guys, then they said that wasn't working out. Then they go back to Peyton Thorne. Anyway, talked about that at last video, but I think for the defense, I think Auburn's always had a really good defense. Um, I think that they've always, recruited great on that side of the ball. Even under Gus Malzahn, who was an offensive genius, he put together some stellar defenses back in like 2013, 17. Think about it, years where they made the SEC title. Great defenses. Defense wins championships. Not just good defenses for Auburn, great defenses for Auburn. And they got the talent. They really do. Um, They just need to come together and work at the right time every single play, next man up. If guys get hurt, they had a couple injuries last year, and when guys had to step up, they just didn't step up. They did, but they didn't step up in the way that maybe you would expect them to. It's gotta be like that at Auburn too. It's gotta be like that at any school, next man up mentality. They got Champ Anthony, I get that, Xavier Atkins and Malik Blockton and Malik Autry, and they got all these recruits coming in and these new guys and some of these experienced guys too. Like, for me personally, for the Auburn defense, I just want to see that leadership grow. You know what I'm saying? I want to see it build. I want to see it progress. I want to see it get better on leadership. You know, like, hey, this is how we play ball. This is how we do it. This is how we play at Auburn. And I think Hugh Freeze could do that this year. I really do. I think that I expect not like a 10 times better performance from the defense for Auburn, but just improvement in general is kind of what I expect from the Tigers defense. And again, I'm not the biggest of experts. I'm just kind of going off, what I've read, what I've heard, and kind of forming my own conclusions here. So I'm not an Auburn expert. I will say that. But man, Auburn needs this. They need this defense. It's not going to be Alabama. It's not going to be Georgia. It's not going to be what Penn State had last year. It's not going to be what Jim Knowles and Ohio State had. It's not going to be anything like that. But can it be half of what that is? I think this could get Auburn to 6 or 7 wins. They ended up with 5 last year. Now, you want to improve by more than just 1 win every year, but I think Auburn is just looking to get to a bowl game and win a bowl game. I think that's what Hugh Freeze should want to do, and I think part of that is gonna be how he handles the defense, honestly. So that's my 2 cents on it. I gotta hear from you guys in the comments on this. Thanks for watching this. I love y'all. Let me know. I mean, can Auburn have one of the it doesn't have to be in the country, but could it be top 3 or 4 in the SEC? Obviously, Georgia's probably gonna be at the top. Then you're kind of expecting Alabama to be up there. You're kinda expecting Texas. Can Auburn be number 4? I think they could, but we gotta wait and see. Advantage for them, they get rivals like Georgia and Alabama at home. They do have to go to Baylor. That's a home and home opener type deal. But, you know, I think, uh I think Auburn's in a good position. I really do. I know that we have to see it, and maybe there's some coaching and cultural issues when it comes to trying to win big time games. There's not really much of a cultural issue as much as there might be maybe some coaching aspects of it. But the talent's there. I love what Hugh Freeze is building at Auburn. And I think you can tell that he wants to win for this program. He wants to give it everything he's got, and he's putting his best foot forward. I believe that. I think they'll have a great year. Love you guys. Thanks so much for watching. Thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff. Love you. Jesus loves you. God bless. We'll see you soon.